Welcome to The Leading Edge, an MIT webinar series focused on the latest in technology, innovation, and industry, brought to you by MIT's Industrial Liaison Program. Today's event is the 2021 SENSE.nano Symposium, Enabling Clinical Research and Practice, featuring Brian Anthony, Vladimir Bulović, Cecilia Stopas, Ellen Roche, Ji-Won Kim, and Neville Hogan. And now for our host, Brian Anthony.
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, depending on where you're joining us from the world today. My name is Brian Anthony. I'm the Associate Director of MIT.nano, and I'll be your host for 2021 SENSE.nano. We're excited today to bring together two phenomenal shared and central resources at MIT, MIT.nano and our new Center for Clinical and Translational Research, celebrating the growth and expansion of the CCTR. The theme for this year, enabling clinical research and practice. I'd like to bring my colleagues in to help welcome you. First, I'd like to invite Dr. Vladimir Bulović, who is the director of MIT.nano, and then Elazer Edelman, who is the director of our Center for Clinical and Translational Research, to share a few opening remarks and reflecting on our days together. Vladimir.
Thank you, Brian. I'm delighted to welcome you to the 5th annual SENSE.nano Symposium. My name is Vladimir Bulović. I'm the director of MIT.nano, MIT's central shared facility that strives to enable development of new and revolutionary sensing technologies. You know, in this era of big data, the data we collect are derived from physical sensors and instruments, from wearables and non-contact physiological monitors, environmental sensors, from interactions with our devices. Sensors and sensing systems are in our homes and vehicles, in medical devices, phones, clothing. Sensors help medical professionals determine if we are sick, and sensors detect our interactions with the environment, with each other, as for example, for contact tracing, and help us to shape the way how to understand how to shape the world, guiding us hopefully back to the new normal. 2021 SENSE.nano Symposium will explore how new sensors and new sensing techniques and systems will propel the standards of current medical work, will bring forward new clinical practice, and will bring better health for all. This year's SENSE.nano Symposium is brought to you through partnership of MIT.nano with the Clinical Research Center and the MIT Industrial Liaison Program. Its lessons, though, will be enabled by the collective effort of all of us. Local medical professionals, industry, government, academics. It is us that need to bring forward that next set of opportunities. It is hence my absolute pleasure and honor to welcome you all to SENSE.nano.
Vladimir, thank you very much. And Dr. Edelman, if you can say a few words as well.
Welcome. I'm delighted to be a part of the team that supports the Center for Clinical and Translational Research at MIT. The center adds to an evolving and expanding set of resources that support biomedical engineering at MIT and indeed around the world. And it comes in an auspicious time. It comes at a time not only when disparate groups at MIT are joining together to foster work, and 30 to 40% of our faculty, staff, and students are interested in this area, but at a time when we have a global responsibility to work together. It also comes at a time when the Code for Federal Regulation has increased the scrutiny and regulatory dictates that govern what we can do. Hospitals, especially our local hospitals, have been a valuable collaborative resource for us. And yet they're turning outward just as we are pumping technology into the community. They are no longer sufficient, but they still offer tremendous benefit. We need something more. We need a safe place at MIT that is staffed with experts, has the resources of cutting-edge technology, and the space adjacent to where we can do and perform iterative development of these technologies. We can mock a hospital room here. We can also have in an adjacent bay an assisted living facility, a nursing home, a home in a smart city, or just a regular environment. The center provides all those things, and it provides a home for the pillars of biomedical research at MIT. It's adjacent to MIT Medical, to MIT's IRB, the Committee on Use of Humans in Experimental Science, and the Office for Data Compliance, which allows us to bring together all of the elements that support biomedical engineering research at MIT. We'll look forward to a thriving life and health sciences community here, and to being a nidus for bringing the community further together.
Elazer, Vladimir, thank you very much. So again, SENSE.nano, bringing together nanoscience and nanotechnology and the practice of medicine through our shared and central facilities, which are MIT.nano and the CCTR. When we think about SENSE.nano, when we think about sensing, it's a pretty large field. We think about sensors. Example on the screen is a novel fiber led by Joel Fink at MIT that allows us to embed sensing and computing functionality into the clothing that we wear, so a novel type of sensor. Or sensing systems, work that's been done by graduate students at MIT to bring together different types of ambient sensing technology, thermal cameras for measuring of temperature, radar to use to monitor heart rate and respiration rate, making a room or a sort of a self-service kiosk that allows you to get your vital signs in a non-contact way. Or a sensing technique, such as a microfluidic approach, where we take the large pipes that would be in a laboratory instrument and bring it down to the small scale so that at point of care, we can potentially detect sepsis in the blood or make measurements right after we've acquired the sample and not have to transport it out to a central facility, to a central lab. So these are the areas when we think about sense, when we think about sensors, sensing systems, sensing techniques, that is SENSE.nano. As Vladimir mentioned a little bit, why all this interest in sensors? You can't do work right now without talking about big data or the Internet of Things. So in context, we forget sometimes that all of this data that we want to put into our machine learning techniques and get actionable information out of that comes from a sensor. So we're benefiting right now from a convergence of some phenomenal new manufacturing technologies for making sensors and fibers, or using integrated photonics, or flexible electronics. We certainly are benefiting from the availability of low-cost computation and readily available communication to connect those sensors to the data centers, to the computing power that needs to extract that actionable information. And then within MIT.nano, we have that center of excellence designed to support fabrication and design of sensors and interfacing the sensors that measure at the nanoscale to the macro scale. This year, in the celebration of the expansion and growth of our Center for Clinical and Translational Research, we look at movement and motion, specimens and biopsies, imaging, physiological monitoring, as the sensing techniques, sensor approaches, and sensors that enable clinical research and clinical practice.